Hey, folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Just wanted to remind you, if you are not already a subscriber to our show and to this page, please go ahead and hit that subscriber button just below my screen right here. It's so important to us. A while back, we already hit our 4,000 plus watch hours to be monetized, but we're still short on subscribers. We got to get to 1,000. So hit that button below on the right side right there. See it? Hit it. Folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Just want to remind you that the next time you need a hat, jersey, or memorabilia of your favorite team, you can get up to 65% off everything on Fanatics just by using our link, hofmedia.us/fanatics. Just click the button at the bottom of the screen and shop as normal. You'll get up to 65% off everything in the store, and we'll get a small commission for everything you buy. It's a win-win. Welcome back to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before we get started, please smash that red subscriber button, like the videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I am here with recruiting guru, Mr. Peyton Manning of the Oklahoma recruiting. What's up, bud? How you doing? Ready for Bedlam this week?
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorite games ever since I was growing up, man. I
Ever
look forward to
since
this
you were
week.
growing up?
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of OSU friends, so, like, a lot of OSU fans. So, like, whenever we were going to school together, obviously I've been out for a while now, but when we were going to school together, we, depending on how this week went, depending on how this next couple weeks went for the person that was on the losing end or winning end. So
Yeah.
it's always been a great game to watch and kick back with friends and drink a beer. So,
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's always fun, and usually it's Oklahoma that wins. So, you don't get too wound up, but it's always a good game, it seems like. So it's we are going to talk a little bit today. We got him on because this is a huge week for recruiting. You're going to have a ton of some hopeful recruits coming in for the game this week. It would be a big win for Oklahoma to get. If there was ever a time that they needed to pull one off, it would be now. They are flocking to Norman. We will talk a little bit about that. Hey, it's Bedlam time, and I asked some folks on Twitter to give me their favorite memories. We didn't get a ton of them, but we did get enough. We got enough for enough to screw up my video. That's why we're a little late here, folks, because I was trying to cap that off. If the video doesn't come out great, I'll just pop those comments up on the screen and we'll go from there. But I think it'll be all right. So heading into this, obviously you have Oklahoma at 5-5. This is definitely the first time that the Sooners have lost this many games since about what was it, 98 or something like that? The last time that it was like,
yeah, they were. I
good.
think that 2000. Don't quote me on this. The year that Blake Bell and Trevor Knight were going back and forth at quarterback. That year is pretty rough. That was the worst one that comes to memory just since I've been watching football.
Yeah, it seems like it was like
I want to say they were 7-5 that year. So I think we're tied right now with their record.
Okay.
But
yeah, I think you may be right there. And then of course Oklahoma State coming in at 7-3. They are 4-3 in the conference. Don't really look to have a whole lot of. They're not going to make it to the conference championship either. They can still salvage a pretty good bowl game, and it would be big, I guess, for if Spencer Sanders does end up playing, which I feel like he's going to play. If he does end up playing, that would be big for him to finally get one in this series. He got one last year, but to cap off his career at Oklahoma State with a win. yeah, that would be big for him. But listen, it would be, from the Sooner perspective, I don't think that there's really a bigger win that you could possibly get now. If for this game, it's never been bigger,
100%.
because of the fact that you've got guys, Hicks coming in. We're going to get into that in just a second, but there are some guys coming into this thing that we're really hoping that to shore up that defense, which is really the biggest thing you're looking for. You're hoping that some of these defensive recruits that are coming in are going to enjoy what they see. And also, not only that, but the fan base has been grumbling and upset about some stuff, and just it's been kind of tough for everybody. I think as fans, it's been kind of rough on everybody. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they get all that kind of stuff, or I hope that they get the win, man, more than anything else. And I think it would be big for Coach Venables to go ahead and get a win in that first Bedlam game. But talk to us a little bit about. Let's go ahead and get into what we were talking about just a few minutes ago about the fact that this recruiting weekend. Tell us what you know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of big time recruits. Not only recruits that we don't have signed. I mean, that we're trying to flip, which includes David Hicks. David Hicks is starred on my books here, but David Hicks, Peyton Bowen, Damian Sanford. Damian Sanford is a linebacker that's committed to A&M currently. So getting a win in front of those guys, flipping wise.
Bowen is he the kid, the Notre Dame guy?
He's a safety. Yeah, the Notre Dame guy. Peyton Bowen's the Notre Dame guy that goes to school with Jackson Arnold. But man, just flipping wise, I mean, it's a recruit stream, and then after the game, you pitch to them, hey, like, a couple of these losses aren't losses with you guys on this team. So I think that's going to be something to keep an eye out for. I mean, we need to win here. I mean, you said it, not only for recruiting wise, but bowl wise to become bowl eligible.
Yes.
You need 6 wins. And we got to keep that streak alive. I know that's what a lot of Sooner fans right now at this point of the season want to see. Because we're right there. I think we're going to tie the record if we become bowl eligible consecutive years this year. Yeah, and then not only for guys that we're trying to flip, but already commits. I mean, we have Jackson Arnold coming in, which he's a lock in my eyes. There was a lot of rumbling this week, as you all know. I came on. I'd heard the rumbles early, seen a post about it on Instagram. Brandon Drum actually made me laugh because he was like, "This is what y'all get for trusting Instagram pages," because I know which page he was talking about. And I went on the page myself on my personal account.
Tell us what it was. What are we talking about?
Oh, they were saying, so they posted whenever there was rumblings that Notre Dame had flipped a quarterback, which it ended up ultimately being the Pittsburgh quarterback. Name slipping my mind right now, but on the first name that you seen was 5-star Jackson Arnold, and people were buying it. Like, they were like, I think it's Jackson Arnold. Yeah, I mean, it was bad. I mean, recruiting Twitter was blowing up because OU fans had thought they had lost Jackson Arnold. And
oh my gosh, I'm glad I wasn't on Twitter that much this week, man. It's just I couldn't do it after the last few weeks.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But and then Brandon Drum got on there whenever the Pittsburgh quarterback decommitted, because like obviously On3 posted it, 24/7 posted it, and I think he retweeted On3's quote tweeted, and he said, "This is what people get for trusting Instagram pages for the recruiting news." Because I mean,
I bet Twitter was going crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And Jackson Arnold, he said from the very beginning, he committed for the right. I mean, he's one player that committed for the right reasons. He loves the coaching staff. He loves Jeff Levy. I mean, and he believes in Jeff Levy's offense. And I don't know about you, but I've watched a lot of his high school games. They run a very similar read and react offense. So
they do. I've been watching a lot of them too.
Yeah, which makes me go into we'll later go into Venables' comments that fans weren't too happy about, but I understood. But Hollywood Smothers, he's going to be in the game. Also, 24 running back, as we talked last week. Stacey Gage out of Wharton, Texas. By the way, was the high school I couldn't think of. He's going to be there. 23 guys and 24 guys, they're going to be there. They're going to be watching. I think that some fans are worried about the 24 class. I'm not even thinking about that 24 class.
I think it's a little early for it, but I was looking and there was somebody I saw the other day that was from the 24 that looked like he may be that he was a 5-star defensive lineman. So
you thinking of David Stone?
I am. I am. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
David
looks.
Stone. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
he,
Love keeps.
he is. He was trending towards OU in the early recruitment. Michigan State has they've started a pipeline through Oklahoma. We also
Yeah.
have another. Yeah, I mean it's we do have to pull those guys in that are from Oklahoma, including David Smith. David Smith's really valuable, I think, to that class. On top of that,
Right.
if we get David Hicks, or David Stone, sorry, if we get
Yeah.
David Hicks, there that's going to be two powerhouse defensive linemen right there that are going to have us SEC ready.
Right.
Of course, you got to build depth on that, but I mean that's just part of it. The 24 class is so far away from signing day. People were worried about it, and I simply put it. I mean, it's we don't need to be worrying about that class right now. They're
No,
out.
and
They're far
look,
away.
yeah, it is way out. It's way out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you should even concern yourself with. I mean, and the people that are, I mean, this sounds like the same folks that are just losing their mind anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jen, thank you for showing up. And you said Quentin Griffin. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Jen is actually one of the ones. She made a video for us today. I appreciate that
Okay.
on her favorite memory. I'll let her tell us about it here in just a second. But
Yeah.
what about Ashton Sanders?
I think if
What's going on
I
with that? It
think
looks like he's cooled off a little bit.
I wouldn't say cooled off. What I'm hearing is obviously his recruitment's taken off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if this weekend goes well, I think we'll have him.
So
We will have him.
he's gonna be there as well.
He's going to be there as well.
Okay,
He is
that's what
coming
I was
down.
making sure about.
Yeah, official visit. He will be in on that. Depending on how the game goes, like I said, I'm not too worried about him. I actually think he will commit. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's also the linebacker Wayne Win. Forget his first name. His recruitment's taken off as well. I don't know if he's going to make it in for official or not. I haven't done too much research on it. He's a
Uh-huh.
USC commit. He's a USC commit right now.
Oh, the one that they're trying to flip. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that they're trying to flip. Don't know whenever he's expected to come, but his recruitment's
Right.
really taken off. He actually just got a offer from Oklahoma State not too long ago. Kind of made me laugh because little brother follows, but
Of
it is
course.
what it is.
Of course.
But
Yeah. Well, it would be nice again to get this win this week. This is if there's I mean, it's never going to be a good thing if you lose to Oklahoma State anyway if you're Oklahoma fans. But that would actually be win number 20 for the Pokes if they were to get it. I think that we would all like to see them stick at 19 for a while. For this foreseeable future. What about is there anybody else that let's see? So come for sure, David Hicks. Let's talk about Hicks though. What are you hearing about that as well, as far as that goes? I've been hearing some stuff. Now, of course, these are all rumors and stuff, but you do hear things about Texas being up on the list to get a little bit. I don't know. Go ahead.
So like I said last week, I came on briefly, and I said that he had remained contact with them the whole time. I mean, apparently, I don't know how much truth there is to that. I'm not too worried about Texas. I haven't heard anything about him with Texas. It's still OU A&M. Obviously Texas is in his ear because of the momentum they have after flipping Colton. But I mean, it all goes back to what visits he takes. I think that it really, we just have to watch his visits and kind of his interaction on social media too, because there's been less and less A&M, more OU, not a lot of Texas. I mean, I've seen a couple posts, but that's the thing about Twitter is anything you like is public. So his interactions are still Oklahoma. He's coming to the visit with his teammate Damian Sanford. I think that's huge. I really do. Plus, you have all of the other commits in this class here at this game with them. They're going to be by each other.
Yes.
Recruits, they talk. Like Jackson Arnold, you can't tell me Jackson Arnold isn't going to be in Peyton Bowen's ear. David Hicks is here. Damian Sanford's here.
Yeah. And let's talk about Peyton Bowen. I mean, this is a 5-star safety. He is the second-ranked safety in the country.
Behind Caleb Downs.
Yes.
Yep.
Second ranked in the country. He's number 25 as a recruit in the country. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big deal for him. He's played obviously with Jackson Arnold the last couple of years. They look like they're on a tear. I mean, they're on their way to possibly
they're going to win it.
being in the state championship again. And it looks like they should win. Every big game they've had in 6A football in the UIL that I've seen, those have been their best games. They've blown them out.
They've showed up.
Yeah, they do. And so it seems like, maybe this is one of those things where, you get a chance to kind of make that flip. And hadn't they been talking a lot about this guy anyway? And hadn't he been on the radar for a while?
Yeah, he's been on our radar for a while. And I'll say it's kind of funny, but girlfriends do amazing things. And his girlfriend is committed.
I was hoping you would bring that up.
Yeah, his girlfriend's committed, obviously, to OU. She's coming to OU. So
to play soccer, correct?
Yes. So I mean, if his girlfriend can get in his ear a little bit, his teammate Jackson Arnold can get in his ear a little bit.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless. I actually almost see him doing something similar to Jaron Knack, kind of playing a low under the radar type of deal. I don't know. His recruitment has been very hush-hush. Like I said, he's reaffirmed his commitment to Notre Dame, but also, as a Notre Dame fan, you're seeing your 5-star safety take all of these visits to Oklahoma, to not only Oklahoma, to A&M, and
right.
You're just.
He didn't make it, but he didn't go to Texas last week, did he? And they were saying he was coming.
No, he did not. He did not go to Texas last week. I don't know where that rumor started, but no, he didn't. He didn't make it to Texas. I don't know. I seen that rumor, looked into it. There was nothing significant showing that he made it to Texas.
Right. No, I know he didn't go. I know that I was watching some stuff that they were talking about it. So he was supposedly a possibility to go, and he didn't.
And he ended up not going. Yeah,
I think he had something else he was going to, but it seemed like maybe.
I think that just as a Notre Dame fan, like I was saying, this guy. He's obviously not 100% committed because, like his teammate Ryan Yates, there, Jackson Arnold and Peyton Bowen teammate,
right?
He came out publicly and said, "My recruitment is shut down. I'm going to LSU. I will not be taking any more visits anywhere," because they were even trying to flip him, but he ended up shutting his recruitment. He
didn't want to even talk to anybody. Yeah, listen, man, that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal, in which Peyton Bowen has not done. He's gone to these visits to A&M. He's obviously been in Oklahoma multiple times, and like I said, his girlfriend is committed to Oklahoma. So he has a lot of people in his ear. Does he stay true to that commitment to Notre Dame? That's still up in the air. I mean, they're like you said, they're pushing hard. I mean, they really are pushing hard. Like I said, I always listen for rumors and stuff. I take some with a grain of salt, but the rumor is with him is that he loves Oklahoma A&M. He loves them. He likes Notre Dame, but his parents love Notre Dame. They like Oklahoma and A&M. So does his parents have some influence on it? Possibly. That's just a rumor out there. So
yeah, listen. I mean, you never know. I mean, and I get it. When you start talking Notre Dame, if you're getting into Notre Dame, that's also an academic thing. Parents like academics more than they like football. Generally speaking, they're going to like the academics a little bit more. But it doesn't. I don't know, and you never know with kids, man. They kind of make their own decisions.
Exactly.
Anyway,
he's an 18-year-old kid. It's his decision, and decisions change. I mean, it's just like Colton. His decision changed. He's an 18-year-old kid that, I remember being 18 and I didn't know where I wanted to eat at that day. I mean, it's just part of it. It's part of growing up, and it's their process. We can't scold them for enjoying their process.
Oh man,
they only get it once in a lifetime.
Have fun with it. Have fun.
Exactly.
With it. You should. And I mean, this is the one time that you get recruited, so, and to where you can go and enjoy it and have fun. And I mean, that they wine and dine you and have a great time. So I don't blame them. I can't blame them at all. You go and you do that. And like with Hicks, even though he is committed, quote unquote, to A&M, the whole thing at A&M, it looks like it's blowing up. So let's talk a little bit about that as well, because of the fact that not only could you flip him, but there's a lot of, I mean, I know I've heard as high as like 5 to 6 5-star
Mm-hmm.
guys that are definitely not coming back. 2 of the
Yep.
5-star guys from the class this year
Mm-hmm.
have have been suspended twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, it's the Jimbo experience was not. I don't think what they were expecting. I mean, you can't buy a good class. I mean, you can buy a good class, but can
you
you
can't
coach
buy
that
a
good
good class. Well,
class?
you can buy, yeah, you can. But
You can buy
here's
it,
the
but
thing:
can you
what are you
coach it?
getting from that when you're just
Mm-hmm.
paying money? You know, when you're
Yep.
not, when you don't have them sold, and then they say, "Look, this is where I want to go. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I've been offered." Then you
Yeah.
can start talking money. And of course,
Yeah.
that's not the way they're supposed to do it anyway with enticements. That's not how it's
No,
supposed to be done.
it's
But that
not.
doesn't
But
mean that's not what happens.
so this is a funny little rumor about the whole NIL deal.
Mm-hmm.
Recruits. I mean, recruits are playing it smart. Don't get me wrong, but recruits are throwing fake offers out there. So, like, let's say I was a recruit and I wanted to make more money. I would go to A&M and be like, "Yo,
It's
Oklahoma
the same
offered
thing that
me."
Jimbo did about
Yep,
LSU.
yep. So
Why wouldn't they?
they're going to the coaches and saying, "Hey, this coach offered me 500,000 to bring me
Yeah.
here," and Jimbo, or A&M or Oklahoma or whoever, not Oklahoma doing it, but comes back and goes, "Okay, well, we'll offer you 600,000." So
Mm-hmm.
that's part of them playing it smart, 100%. But I mean, there's got
Listen,
to
I
be
mean,
some
they better learn how to
regulations.
play the game.
Yep.
It's early in it, but they're going to have to do it.
Hmm.
They have to learn how to play that game. And so,
Oh,
I can't say that I blame them, not even a little
yeah.
bit. So, you know,
No,
um,
it's a
yeah,
business. It's a
it
business.
is.
It's
It
turning
is.
into business.
And I will say another thing too, that
Hmm.
they're adding some more collectives around Norman
Yep.
for these NIL deals. There's a lot of opportunity in a lot of places that, for all the complaining that's been going on over how
Hmm.
things are going recruiting wise. I mean, we had the show where we were talking about people on Todd Bates,
Yep.
which is insanity. And then
Hmm.
the whole thing with the losses. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm going to just say this one more time before we go any further. All I'm telling people is that it is not time to fire Brent Venables. It's
Nope.
not. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve a little bit of critiquing, because
Hmm.
there have been some things that have gone on in these games that you wonder why. You
Yep.
know, in the end, I'm still going to say that a lot of this has to do. I mean, if they're still making the same mistakes that they're making in the first part of the season on that defense,
Hmm.
it's easy to say that's a coach's problem. But
Yep.
at some point, you got to go play. You're a player.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
if you're,
100%.
you know, they've talked about certain. I'm not going to get into certain players or naming players that are doing things
Hmm.
wrong, but I know that I've seen, you know, guys that have lined up incorrectly. They're showing it on the
Yeah.
video. They're showing them hitting the wrong hole, and then there's the running back going through. The Baylor game was a
Hmm.
prime example of that.
Yeah.
They ate one kid's lunch over that deal, and
Yeah.
he was being kind of, talking about it not being a big deal, and then you miss tackles,
Yeah.
so you can't. It's not. And then who was it that came out earlier this week and was saying, look, this is not a coaching thing. You know what I mean? I don't know how you would blame this on the coaches. He was an NFL
The,
player.
Nick Benito.
Yes, yes.
Talking about Nick
So
Benito. Yeah.
and there's actually been a few of them that have been talking about it, that this is something
Hmm.
that you need to do as a player. It's your job.
Yep.
So that being said, I'm not going to sit here and just go on the players, but I
Hmm.
am going to say that it's just early. It's just early.
Yeah.
You got to give him a little bit of time. I know people don't want to hear, well, Stoops went 7-5. He did. And
Hmm.
so did Nick Saban. And so did Jimmy Johnson at the U. And so did Pete Carroll. I mean,
You
these guys didn't win their first years. It just doesn't
no.
happen. Even
It's hard to do.
Josh Heupel went 7-5 a year
Hmm.
ago.
Yeah.
And he had a core of guys coming back. I mean, crap. Their quarterback's been there for 10 years, it seems like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had a
He's
core
been there
of
for
people
5.
coming back. Yeah,
Yeah.
listen. So it was a different situation, and it's easy to say, okay, Lincoln's over there at SC and
Hmm.
killing it. Well, yeah, he took a Heisman, probably the possible, and I think he's almost won the thing for himself now.
Yeah.
With the way that Knicks
He's.
played last week, not winning that game, if they're
Hmm.
to win, this game coming up this weekend against UCLA, and then
Hmm.
obviously they're going to get another shot at they'll either get a shot at Oregon in the championship game, or they would get Utah another shot at them. And that game's this weekend too. What a great game that's going to be. Listen, if they were to win that and win, they're number one. They'll probably get to the playoff. If TCU loses, they're in the playoff. That puts them in. But that wins him the Heisman Trophy almost for sure. Because even in their loss, he was great. He had 5 touchdowns and 500 yards. You know, so
that's definitely not for USC fans. We had a turnover on our roster too. I mean, you did, but I mean, you had a hell of a run in the transfer portal.
The turnover that they had on their roster, they were getting rid of bad and getting good.
They upgraded every position they lost. I mean,
absolutely. He put 50 new players on that team.
Yeah, like you said, Caleb Williams. I think he's number one player in the country. I mean, there's no.
I think he is too.
He uses his feet. He uses like. There's not a weak. I mean, ball accuracy is a little bit, but there's not a really.
Oh, come on, man! And even that, he's really good.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm not saying he's bad. I just said if I were at the point at one.
Sure. No, I mean he's not perfect. He's not perfect, and he's still got another year.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Another year. That's what college football should be scared about is Caleb Williams.
Absolutely, yeah. Because if they do figure that out, then
So going back to development, like we had talked a couple weeks ago, I'm actually working on something right now. You're gonna really enjoy this. I am going all the way back to Lincoln Riley's first year and Wiley's the strength and conditioning coach's first year. Yeah. And I took everyone's initial weight, and I'm comparing that weight down to his last year. Yeah, I'm working on that right. I mean, as we
it's looking good on or it's looking like it wasn't good for Lincoln.
It was declining. It already shows. There's a couple players that did improve pretty majorly, but for the most part, I would say on offense, we definitely got smaller. I mean, here we'll just talk an offensive lineman real quick.
Although the offensive line has been probably the most consistent group on the team.
I thought that, and I've went back. So since that year that we those 5 players won the that offensive line of the year award.
Yeah.
We haven't had even a top 10 finish in a player for those awards. That's how bad our offensive line has gotten. It's pretty crazy, but and our weight has decreased.
When you start thinking about the way that these running backs have done, and even though I mean Eric Gray's had an amazing season, but he's been.
I would say on the offensive line we've lost an average of 15 pounds.
Wow.
So from just his first year of taking over, the offensive lineman lost an average of 15 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm still working on it. It's still definitely in the works. I'll probably have it posted Sunday. But
I mean, I think it was clear, and I that's something I saw from Corey a couple of weeks ago when he was kind of going back and forth with the USC guy, and they were talking about because there was a USC guy that was doing what they do. But and Jen, yes, I agree. You know that BV he has a chance to bring us back. He you know, everybody wants to link him completely to Stoops and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I think that the mistake, we've talked about this, the mistake made was to let him go in favor of Mike coming back. As we all see, he's had a top 10 defense for 8 of the last 10 years at Clemson, 2 national championships and 2 appearances in the title game to show for it.
He's going to be fine. I think that
at least we got to find out. I think you got to give him this year and next, and then year 3, if he's not doing what he's supposed. I mean, that's all I've said. That's all we've tried to say. I think on this channel from the start is give this guy a couple of years, get some players in, and and get that culture change going, because it's not something you can do by snapping your fingers. No. And what Jen Moore, you were right, is that I feel like the culture, it was changing in the other way with Lincoln. And so, it's not that Lincoln is a terrible coach because he isn't. First and foremost, I mean, somebody asked me the other day on the live that I did the other day, if let's say Matt Rule became defensive coordinator at USC, would you take him serious? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because not only is he a good defensive coach, but he's also a really good head coach at the college level. But right now, I feel like they're recruiting, and they did it at Oklahoma, and they're doing it now. They're not recruiting the big guys that you can get at major programs like OU and USC. They're recruiting like Lincoln was still at ECU or Texas Tech, that you're not going to get the 300-pound guys for the D-line. You're going to have to go small and play that kind of way. And I think that's a mistake. And it's one of those things that you have to kind of, if he was to get that, then yes, Lincoln is in play to win a lot of them, right? But and yeah. Hey, Jake's back. I agree with you there. Let's see, James. Hey, what's up, James? How are you doing? USC fans are going to be fun when they realize he was a rental. And I've heard some other stuff too. He may not even be at SC for long enough to go to the NFL. I don't think, James. There's been a lot of rumblings about that A&M would love to, and I don't know if this is real or not, but there's been some rumblings about him not being all that excited about the Big Ten move, and that A&M's kind of making some overtures there. Would it surprise me? No, because like as Jake says, not a terrible coach, god awful person. Yes, he left in the middle of the night, didn't say nothing to his players, and just split. So, it wouldn't surprise you anything that happens.
That's actually hurt him in the recruiting world as well, because players, high school players take notice of that. Like that was,
of course. How can you? Parents
that
too.
was the worst way. That was the worst way to handle that situation. I would have had, I think 10 times more respect for Lincoln Riley if he would have, first off, not through the Oklahoma State game, because that was that was a god awful game by him. I think
he threw it. The Bedlam game
was terrible. Yeah, last year.
I think he threw it.
So there was that game, and then obviously that Sunday he had left, and announced on ESPN. Essentially, ESPN broke it, and then it was like, you know what, I'm not coming back for the bowl game either. Like, as a head coach,
you're pretty much gone. You're gone. Once you take
agree,
that,
but I feel like I agree 100%. You're gone after that. But if you would have handled it a little bit better and coached the bowl game, and then at least broke it.
Well, and then there was that talk about that Caleb went home with him in a car. They were in an SUV or whatever. Instead of being on the bus with the rest of the team, he had Caleb Williams in there with him, letting him know what was going on. None of this is like, I know that none of this stuff was confirmed or whatever. Of course, nobody's going to say it, and I also believe that there's some things that was going on. And Jen, I think you're right about Bob wasn't capable of firing Mike, but Bob, in my opinion, he shouldn't have brought him back. That being said, and then when he fired Heupel, now that brought us Lincoln Riley. But if you're looking at it in those terms, I've always said that I kind of felt like that was, we've talked about this before too, that I think that there was some influence there that was going on that kind of helped push him out. Right. But yeah, he didn't need to coach in the bowl game. No, of course not.
Yeah.
Because that would have, the longer he's around, and I don't think OU allows that either. I don't think OU allows that either. They don't want him there because you can bring more guys with you if 100%. You're there. The more he's around your players not being there anymore and being another team's problem. No. They wouldn't have never allowed that. And that's why Stoops came in and like to kind of right the shoot. But I remember what, they were saying that he had went in front of, I guess in front of the House Assembly or something like that, and was talking about how, hey, everybody was freaked out. And he was like, hey, man, he didn't invent OU football, and he did it. Yeah, and that's a good way. I thought that was the right thing to kind of say.
Bob Stoops definitely had the right words at the right time, and he reassured fans like we're okay. We're Oklahoma. We're going to bounce back from this.
But this thought pattern of the bottom line that we're getting to is that this thought pattern of going to the CFP in 1 year, when you have that much turnover, you lost 2 quarterbacks, 5-star quarterbacks. Not that Spencer was, he's not Caleb Williams either, but he's been decent at times this year. Yeah. I was fine with him leaving. I think Dylan Gabriel's much better.
I was okay with him leaving. He's I had a friend that had played for Oklahoma, and he's an all about me player. I mean, and
he is. He was. Well, you can see that on the
yeah,
Netflix special. You
yeah,
can see
yeah.
that. I mean, that his
We definitely
teammates,
had the
his
signs right
teammates at the
there.
end of high school hated him.
Yeah.
By the
I
time
still
you
want
could
to know.
tell that
I
was
still
going
want to
on.
know why he wasn't allowed to play in the playoffs. I
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything like that because
yeah,
I've heard a lot of crazy stuff.
yeah.
But
There's a lot of
I
crazy
mean, you
stuff
got to
out there.
make sure that that's confirmed before. And
Yeah, no,
apparently,
I don't think we'll ever get the answer.
apparently there was some stuff that was swept under the rug that was pretty bad. And I
Yeah.
knew about that as it happened. Being
Mhm.
in Vegas at the time, I mean, you were
Oh
hearing all
yeah, I
that kind of
forget.
stuff a lot
Yeah.
because Phoenix is right there.
Yep.
I mean, so we were hearing a lot of those things, and it was surprising to me that Lincoln stuck with him.
Yeah.
I felt like that was.
Probably why
I
they
thought,
swept a lot of it under the rug was to try to keep his scholarship good. But
yeah.
crazy story. But yeah, no. Nonetheless, I think that we all know that Lincoln's tenure here we declined, and that shows. And he profited off of it in the portal. And if they do make it to the playoffs, they're going to make it as the 4th seed.
Well, and if
they're
you
going
look at this, his recruiting hasn't been good this. I mean, where's he at
nope,
recruiting wise? Their SC's like in the
top
20s.
20. Yeah, top 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
So
there. He's about to lose, and a lot of fans were anticipating Deuce Robinson to be a not Notre Dame, excuse me, USC lock, and Georgia came in not late,
I
but
saw
they
that.
they were around there, and they've made things really close. I wouldn't consider him a lock anymore at all, but that's beside the point. But yeah, he's if he makes it to the first
Well, and
round,
I mean, and
he's gonna meet Georgia,
before
and
before
Georgia.
A&M just completely spit the bit, their quarterback,
Mm,
the quarterback situation started to look like
yeah,
it wasn't great either for him.
yeah.
But what was the kid's name? I
Talking
forgot
about,
about him. Huh?
are you talking about
The guy that was coming to Oklahoma, um, and he switched his commitment to SC. He went on an
You're talking
official.
about Makari. You're talking about not Makari. Malachi Nelson. Malachi Nelson.
Yes, Malachi
Yep.
Nelson. Yes.
Yeah, Malachi Nelson.
Yeah. So he took and apparently was really enjoying his time at A&M, which is kind of weird to me. But
Yeah.
but apparently, and I like I said, I wouldn't expect anything at this point now because of the fact that, I mean, I feel like something could happen still where you.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're still working. I haven't heard anything concrete, but I've from what I understand, there's still a lot of talk about getting him out of there in some way. He would have to give up a lot. He's going to have to give up a lot of his signing bonus for Jimbo to leave, but because there's no way they're going to pay him $80 million. They're just not going to do it.
No,
they're not going to do it and him not be there.
No.
Nor should you. But they should not have made that deal either. They should not. I mean, that was the stupidest thing ever for them to do that. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. His contract's crazy, but I do know that Oklahoma. I read up on actually Brent Venables' contract. It's buyout friendly. So if we need, I'm not saying that we need to fire him or anything, but Oklahoma set themselves up for a good position to be like, hey, if something goes terribly wrong, let's set this protector up, and we did that. So I think that's where A&M definitely failed. Was they were all in on Jimbo, and his recruiting classes were worth it, but his coaching was not.
No, and that's well, and I also think that it's obvious. It's been pretty obvious that he's needed to kind of upgrade his coaching, because as much as I think he was a good offensive guy for a long time, if you look at him on the sideline with his big binder of plays, that is freaking 70s old. You know what I mean? I mean, you got guys with these little Post-it notes that they're using.
Most guys are using stuff like this folded up, and they're reading off of it. Because a lot of those sets can be broken down, and then you can just call.
Yeah, you just run a lot of the same plays out of different sets. Yeah, and that's the way it's. I mean, listen, whatever.
I mean, Jimbo might have 70 play calls over in the.
How do you expect his to?
I don't get it. But
anyway,
back to the main thing. This weekend is going to be major for us. I mean, Bedlam obviously,
it's a big game, man.
Time to talk some crap, to the opposing team, and Oklahoma and OSU fans have been going at it.
Yes, they have.
I mean,
yes,
on Twitter,
I enjoy that. I enjoy that.
I'm hoping for our Twitter folks out there that like to talk to other teams. I'm hoping for our sake that y'all have a little bit of a leg to stand on, because if we get beat by Texas and OSU, that's our two biggest, counterparts on Twitter. We want to have a lot of leg to stand on, but I mean,
listen,
man,
it's not even. But here's the one thing, and I've been saying this a lot, and I'm going to stand on this one more time. When OSU wins a game they need to win, it'll be the first freaking time that I can remember. It's one of those times that we're going to get into some of these other ones, talking about some of these games. But what was the year that they were going to go to the BCS? I want to say it was like 12 or 13 or something like that. And then, and they just freaking, and three quarterbacks got them, three Oklahoma quarterbacks, and Blake Bell being one of them, goes in and gets that win. It's a big, that's going to be on our video. And in fact, let's go ahead and, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and put that video up. Actually, give me just a second. So run down real quick while I'm pulling it in there. What the recruits that are going to be in attendance this week?
Yeah, so starting with the 23 class, we got Jackson Arnold, Hollywood, some others. Our running back commit, Caden Green, David Hicks, Peyton Bowen, Damian Sanford. Our other running back commit, Khalid Hicks, and then in the 24 class, there's quite a bit. There's a handful or maybe two. But the two I have starred is Nigel Smith. He's a 24 defensive lineman. And then, his name keeps slipping my mind, the running back out of Wharton, Texas, Stacey Gage. And then there's a couple. I mean, we're getting recruits from 25, 26 coming in. And then obviously the defensive lineman we were talking about out of California. We're gonna have quite a bit there, not only in the 23 class, but 24, 25, 26 class. There's gonna be a lot of recruits there. It's gonna be a big game. Like I posted about it on my Twitter. Sooner fans, this is the one game I would say we need to show up and be loud.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one from you. That when you were talking about that, it needs to be. The fans need to show up and yell and be loud this time. This is a game that's important, and it would be good for the recruits to see that as well. All right, we've got that. Let's see. It's actually still processing. Give me just 2 seconds. But again, and folks, I appreciate it. Listen, if you enjoy enjoy the content that we're bringing you, I hope that everybody's hit that subscriber button by now. I'd love to have some more subscribers. We are on our way to 1,000. We really just need to hit that 500 mark. That would be great. But look, if you'd like to help support the podcast, we actually, I'll just play that video real quick, and then we'll jump right into our Bedlam memories right after that. So, hey, folks, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame, College Football Podcast. If you'd like to help support our show, we have a fabulous way for you to do so. We have teamed up with the #1 team merchandise retailer in the world, Fanatics. That's right, Fanatics. Now, the next time you need a new hat for your favorite team, shirt, even memorabilia, all you have to do is go to our website first, hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. At the bottom of the page, there is a blue Fanatics logo. You click on it, then shop as normal. You're going to get up to 65% off everything in the store, and we get a small commission for everything you purchase. It's a win-win. So again, hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. You help the show and save a bunch by doing so. It's a win-win situation, and we get to continue bringing you fabulous content week after week. All right, we're going to jump into this. I'm going to see how this video goes. If it doesn't go as well as I think, then I may just play the individually what we've got, but take a look.
I see her rolling Loading up Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me. Turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease. Bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her.
My favorite Bedlam memory is the 2003 game. OU won 52-9. I was living in Oklahoma. I was 19, and I was working with some Oklahoma State football players, which is why I remember this one so much. But Jason White went on to win the Heisman, and that's my favorite Bedlam memory.
My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease. Bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on her tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get
Jen here. I wanted to give you quickly my favorite Bedlam memory, and that would be from 2016. And played in Norman. It was freezing, it was raining, and it was a great game. The best part was, of course, at the very end of the game, just a couple minutes left, Samaje took the ball all the way to the 2-yard line, took a knee because the man has class, and it was a great 38-20 win over the Cowboys. And we were frozen. The fireball had long since worn off from all of the tailgating, but it was great. It was worth it. Those were the days. Stoops, Mayfield, P. Ryan, Mixon, Dimitri Flowers. I'm missing so many. D.D. Westbrook. Oh, those were the days. And that was our 10th Big 12 championship under Stoops. So it was a great day in history, and definitely my favorite that stands out in my memory. Have a great day, and Boomer Sooner. Let's go. Keep the coach.
You got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on her tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Casamigos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything.
Adrian Peterson, Oklahoma State, 2004, third quarter, broke them off on an 80-yard touchdown run. Start off with a spin move. I think that was his 8th consecutive game over 100 yards. That dude, undefeated. Start off with a spin move. I think that was his 8th consecutive game over 100 yards. That dude, undefeated.
We chase Casamigos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on her tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. All the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. She got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on her tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.
Oh, Hollywood was fast, wasn't he? I'm sorry, folks. That was there was a few little glitches in that, and yeah. So I will definitely get that fixed. It will be released on Twitter and Facebook, both places. So we'll get the few little glitches we had in there. But again, I enjoy watching those highlights and stuff anyway. And the one, man, I was hoping that the one from Wong Lim was going to work out pretty good because I thought I had edited that pretty good. But the whole Adrian Peterson, as a matter of fact, I just want to pull up that video, and I can do that.
He was electric,
dude. Oh, Adrian Peterson, and I was talking about that the other day. Hey, we got another favorite though here, real quick. Hold on. Oh, 2 years. Yeah, what was all that he was actually saying? I can't remember exactly what Les said, but he was known to kind of use the needle there. James, if you remember what was it that he was saying? Was it that man, I forget, but Les was pretty good with the needle though, and
to make you feel bad, I was only 3 at that time, so I only started getting to football until
youngster,
freaking
youngsters, man. My guys from the Lone Star college football podcast are young too. They're like my son's age. You guys are a bunch of kids. So
yeah, no, my you asked me my favorite memory. I would say 2015. I call it Baker's moment because
oh man,
he took over that game, and then he even got a pancake that game. That game just made me like I already liked Baker Mayfield a lot. And in that game, man, he talked so much trash, man. That 2015, that whole game was my favorite. But I strictly remember Baker. We had a busted play, and we ended up popping it up to the right, and Baker gets out and blocks in front of him and picks up a dude and slams him down. I was like, yeah, Baker, you're my favorite dude.
Bro, he's and look, man, and I mean, my favorite quarterback. Well, I've got a couple of favorite quarterbacks. Baker's definitely right there, up there on the list, and of course, but being from Artesia, Landry Jones, and he's still one of the all-time leaders and everything. Landry's my boy, man, and I was really efforting getting him today. Could not make the connection to get him on the show. Yeah. So maybe we will get with him soon.
One day.
Definitely would like to. Yeah, he's there in Oklahoma, so it's and I'm not right now, so it's one of those things where I think if I was there, I could definitely do it. But Landry, if you're watching, give us a call. So and then and then Sam, we were talking about that with Sam. Oh wait, I want to see what James is saying here. The 2 teams are playing. One is really good. The other's the best team in the nation. And today we're going to find out which one is which. Oh yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah, they weren't the best team in the nation that day. Yeah. So it's so funny, man, the way he did that. and he parlayed that job into a good job. I'll give him that. And he did a good job at LSU, but not the greatest way to go out, I would say. With every, I mean, he got fired at Kansas because of what he did at LSU.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty
yeah.
rough.
And then I mean, I even go back as far as Jamel Holloway. That's my favorite. That was the guy that made me love OU football. I was a kid then. And so Jamel Holloway was my favorite player growing up. And then it's Adrian Peterson. So we were talking about that the other day. It was like, I saw something on Twitter about people were asking what non-Heisman Sooners should have a statue. And I don't even think Roy was in there. Roy Williams was in there. And I would say definitely he's deserving as well. Just if for nothing else, the Superman play. Come on. I mean, that's Texas. That he should be in. And he was great. He was great anyway. But to me, first off, Adrian Peterson got screwed out of the Heisman Trophy his freshman season. That was crap. Unbelievable. And Wong Lam was talking about that. That was he 8 or 9 games in a row. He had over 100 as a freshman. There's no way he shouldn't have won it. And, I think that came down to it. They just weren't allowing freshmen to win it at that time is what it was.
Yeah.
So,
which is a tragedy. Like looking back on
it, they waited till Tebow to allow it.
Yeah. To allow it. Yeah.
Whatever, bro. Yeah. So, and then, but Sam, we were talking about Sam Bradford. That dude could ball. And I feel like if he hadn't have had so many injury issues in the NFL, he would have been one of the better. He would have been great. He would have been a Hall of Famer.
I agree 100%.
And then I feel like Landry just didn't get a shot. He got onto a team, and here's the thing about the NFL: your window closes fast, and it's what I'm concerned with about Baker. To be quite honestly with you, is that he's been on 2 dumpster fire teams. One team likes to blame him for everything. At least Carolina's not doing all that, but it could be hard for him to get, and because I don't know what his number is, it's going to be hard for him to get another shot. Now, should he? Yes, but it's got to be a good one now. And he probably has earned himself at least one more look. And it's got to be, Baker has to be very selective because otherwise it could be over with quick.
I agree. I don't think he can go into a situation where they have a couple holes. Like he needs to go into a situation with a good offensive line.
Correct. Absolutely. Because of the fact that he is smaller, he needs to go into a situation with a good O-line. No doubt about it. And then the other thing, it's like I said with Landry, he just got stuck behind a Hall of Fame guy. And the chances that he got to go in, I remember the one time that they were saying Roethlisberger was going to miss 6 games. He missed 2. And he was starting to look like he was getting some rhythm, Landry did. And then Roethlisberger came back, and
obviously you're going to put Roethlisberger in.
Of course, he's the star. I mean, he came back for a reason. And I think it was one of those things that that he kind of got stuck in a situation where he wasn't going to ever really get that opportunity. And then, and once you become a let's see. Oh, my first in-person game in Stillwater game. I was 10. It was amazing. So that was the 88 Bedlam game, Jake. That's cool, man. So that was that first game was 88 Bedlam. That's awesome, dude. And I've never been to a game in Stillwater. I'd like to go.
Only game I've ever been into Stillwater was a high school championship game before they did away with OSU. It was Wayne in 2011. Wayne 2011, and they had went over to Stillwater and won the championship. So, only time I've ever been in Stillwater to watch a game.
Yeah.
So,
hey, what were you saying about my boy Jamel here? No judgment, but he's not a good rep in Tulsa. Why? A good rep? Like, what do you mean? Oh, he doesn't have a good reputation? Oh, I don't know about all that. I was just talking about as a kid, and he never hardly lost. I think he lost 1 game as a starter in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So I got to meet him Same with Baker. Yeah, I got to meet Jamel in Vegas one time. Actually, he had went to high school with a friend of mine in California, and we were doing some work at his house and stuff. And Jamel showed up, and I was kind of speechless, man. And I'm usually not like that with athletes. I've been a sports writer for 20 years, so it doesn't really bother me. But Jamel Holloway made me pretty speechless, and I think I would probably be like that with AD too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just one of those. Because here's the thing, this is one of those new deals. It's one of those deals with me, and I know it's the same way with you. You know, you watch these games with your dad. This is a father-son thing and a family thing, really. I mean, 100%. Families do this. They get together and they do all this stuff, and it was just amazing. Like I said, my first memories of Oklahoma football was Jamel Holloway and how great he was. And so these things, they stick with you. And so I don't know, man. I'm excited about this game this weekend. I know it's been a tough season for all of us fans. We were talking about a friend of mine was telling me today at lunch, she was like, yeah, I figured you were having a rough season because I hadn't talked to her much this season. She goes, yeah, I figured when I saw the record that you weren't happy about that at all. I said, no, I haven't been happy, but it's something that you had to kind of expect. What we really want this week is to make sure that this happens and that these guys are going to find a way.
I think it's just a huge morale win overall.
Yeah, listen, you need to get bowl eligible just so they got those extra practices. Eligible. You got 15 extra practices because of that. That's important, you know. So they need to get bowl eligible. I don't feel like that's going to be a big issue. I feel like even if they were to lose this one, I suspect that they'll beat Tech. I will be at that game. That's next week. Yeah, it's not that far from here where I'm from or where I live.
Well, to end this night, I was going to answer the question that we did get on there about the transfer portal with Oklahoma. Pretty much what I'm hearing, it's kind of like we talked about last week. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what portal wise. I mean, there's nothing. Obviously, there's not a lot of talk about it because you also don't. Venables has come out and said, if you want to leave this team, I'll help you leave the team.
Oh, I know. He said that early. He said that after the first loss. You know what I mean? It was there's some things that
if you want to leave, I mean, you want to leave on a high note, but you also don't want to talk about it too much. So right now, there's not a lot of rumors. I've heard a couple people being obviously frustrated on the offensive side more than the defensive side. I mean, defensive side, you have every right to be frustrated, but
a lot of that's on you though. A lot of that is on you if you're on that defensive side. You know what I mean? It's again, this isn't one of those things where you have to. Players got to play. The coaches know how to coach it. You can't tell me they don't know what they're doing. They had a top 10 defense 8 of the last 10 years. They're sending guys to the NFL in the first round year after year from Clemson because of what Brent and these guys were doing. So to me, I don't feel like that's. And look. It was just the truth of it is the depth is low. You have that many people that turn over and leave the program, and you have 13 guys that were on that roster on the defensive side in the depth chart. 13 of them are gone. 13 of them.
I think that the defensive side is more bought in than the offensive. I mean, I think that where the offensive frustration began was obviously when Dylan Gabriel went down with the injury. But I'm playing that by ear. I mean, you got to
look, man. I feel like there's some guys coming in on offense that here's the deal. I think you give it another year, and I'm getting tired of seeing Dylan Gabriel and Jeff Lebby take freaking bullets. I really am. Because of the way that things have gone. They're over here catching strays, as JP likes to say, and it's ridiculous. The fact of the matter is that Lebby knows what he's doing. He was, he was running the number one offense in the SEC a year ago. I know that Lane Kiffin he's one of the, he'll call the plays, but he didn't want to lose Jeff Lebby. Oklahoma is very lucky to have him. Okay. And number two, and if they didn't have Jeff Lebby, they wouldn't have Jackson Arnold coming. So I want to stop seeing that. Now, did they look good last week? No, but it was awful too. It's not making excuses for them. But but that's the one game that I can say that I didn't think that Dylan played very well at all. The week before, the 3 interceptions, 2 of those were tips, and one of them was an interference. So, I don't, it's not even to me, that was he had a bad game last week. And I'm not, and again, I don't feel like all of these guys are above getting some kind of critique from us as fans who expect more than this. That being said, we've had a 20-year period where we've had an amazing amount of success that more than most teams ever even dream of. Now, do you want a national championship? Yes. I feel like this is the way you're going to get it. You have to get a defensive mind, and you need a guy like Lebby to continue that offense being what it is in order for this to happen. So I would, look, it is a rough season, but I feel like we can finish this off. They can finish this off well and have some momentum coming into the offseason, have a good look. There's some guys out there that could really help on, defensively and offensively, but you got guys like Petaway coming in, running back. I mean, what is it? Dylan Smothers is coming.
Is that the running coming. Back? Yeah. Yep. And then Hicks, the running back, he's coming in. They call Smothers Hollywood. That's what they call him. Hollywood Smothers. Yeah.
And that last video, the video that we were watching, man, I wanted to bring up Hollywood Brown. That dude was so fast, man.
Yeah, and he's having a great year with Arizona Cardinals. He started off really hot.
I mean, that was a good deal for him. That was a good deal for him going with Kyler. They know each other and stuff like that. And he'd been playing with Lamar, who can't throw.
100%.
He can't throw. He can't throw. He's a great athlete. I feel like Lamar Jackson would probably be a Hall of Fame receiver if he just go play receiver. But he's a great player. Great player.
Yeah, that's about all I have for you this week in Sooner fans. But it's this to end it off, to cap this whole thing off. This week is major in both who's playing on the field and who's visiting the game. I mean, it's gonna play a huge factor. So I'm interested to see it, but I appreciate you having me on and giving me.
No doubt, and I appreciate you coming on, Peyton. It's been good having you. We will talk again next week after this weekend. So we need to get all the information on what happened, who looks like. I mean, obviously. There may not be anybody that says anything, but there could.
You never know.
But there's definitely going to be rumors, and so there will be fallout from the game, whether it's good fallout or bad fallout. We'll find out. But
and that's right side.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and folks, we're going to actually go ahead and call it there too anyway. But I appreciate everybody showing up. I will get that video fixed up. It was kind of a tough afternoon. I was trying to get it all put together. I took things for too long instead of just doing the editing, and so it was not great. It will be reposted on Twitter, on Facebook, because I really appreciate everybody taking part in that as well. And Jake, I appreciate you throwing out your favorite Bedlam as well, man. I appreciate that a lot. And I'd said last week it was my favorite one was going to be 2018. So that was man, that was a great game. It was another Baker game. So it was we enjoyed it. That was really, I mean, that it was a concern going into the game that week because Oklahoma State was good, man. Their offense was number one in the country, or right up there with with number one in the country. It was definitely it was a concern. So it was. I remember watching it from the sports book in Vegas with a friend of mine who was an Oklahoma fan that had flown in for that weekend, and we had a blast. So it was a cool deal. We enjoyed it.
Yep.
But folks, we appreciate again. Thanks so much for coming back in. And sticking with us this weekend. If you haven't hit the subscriber button, please do so. I'd appreciate that a lot. And we will see you on Saturday night. There is a live. We run it at 11 Eastern, so it's 9. It'd be 10 o'clock Central for all you Sooner fans. But we will see you on that one, and hopefully we'll be celebrating a little bit.
Hopefully.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks.